So it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm so grateful to Dr. Gather and everyone associated with the AGORA here for the invitation to attend and say a few words. This came about because just 3 weeks ago in Berlin, Nadia, Thanos, and Angeliki we sat down and realized that we were working on initiatives that had alignment, and that it was important to think about how we could coordinate and make the most out of that alignment. So I'm here partly to speak right now, but also to spend time with many folks in this room to develop partnerships. It's where we left off the last talk a few moments ago. So much in and around this topic is to do with how we can coordinate our efforts and find ways to do things together that we cannot do separately. So I'm going to say a little bit about some things that IDA is working on, especially an emergency assistance fund, which we just announced a few days ago and which begins tomorrow. In terms of open to requests. So I'll say a little bit about how that came about, and also some of the background of advocacy at IDA right now under my time there. I've been at IDA 2 years, and advocacy has become increasingly the center of what we seek to do for documentary filmmakers everywhere. So that context, we did a strategic plan about a year or so ago. It was really driven by broad consultation with the documentary field, and the goal, and so the focus on advocacy came out of that, and the goal for us was to move from being reactive to being more proactive. IDA does have a history with advocacy, including support for filmmakers at risk in different places, but I would say, it really needs to be central to our operations. We need to make it central to the work of the staff on our team, to the budget we put behind that, and the relationships we sustain to do the work. That's the shift we want to make. In 2025, set about defining the scope of what advocacy would mean for us. And we did that in part by assembling a kind of a think tank, to use that word again, a task force, which included Sarah Ishak from ICFR, as well as filmmakers, lawyers, activists in the US and around the world. And not just the decisions around the focus of advocacy for IDA, which turned out to put freedom of expression at the center, but also an operational plan for what we could do came out of that. I say freedom of expression at the center, but that's, as always, intertwined with other needs and rights. Freedom of movement, we talk about a lot already, and to some extent, freedom of opportunity. So that's the heart of what we've set out to do. I could describe some current strands of activity, and I'm thinking about like this month, last month, the month before, next month. One focus, there's sort of three things I could mention. One would be we focused a lot in recent times on media consolidation. We were among the first organizations to come out in opposition to the merger of Warner Brothers Discovery with larger entities in the United States. This was before looked like it was going to be Netflix. We began a campaign about that in October of last year, and then continued that when it looked like it was going to be Netflix. This is really an antitrust monopolies issue, and we can all imagine the reduction in opportunity for filmmakers' production and distribution that's going to come out of this. Now that it seems to be Paramount Skydance, we have an additional issue, which is around freedom of expression, because we're looking at what gets called political jawboning, which is situations in which governments pressurize media in terms of what is said and not said. Right now we are working with, we're in partnership with the Future Film Coalition on this campaign in the United States, and we're working to try and mobilize attorneys general across the United States to try and bring some opposition to this on antitrust grounds. That's a very current issue for us, as you can imagine. One thing, this gets to the first point about possible partnership. One thing I was trying to learn in Berlin and in previous weeks was, with issues like this, how can we partner with entities in the European Union? You know, EU has regulators too. And whether it's this or something else, over time, we want to see how we can have partnerships here and elsewhere to try and take action against some of these moves that restrict what's possible across the industry. Second thing that's been a focus for us in the last year or so, really since the election of the current US federal administration, that administration has increased the restrictions on visa applicants and their requirements to disclose their social media channels. This is absolutely a First Amendment issue, and our partner in this, in bringing litigation against this U.S. State Department, we've worked originally with Doc Society to do this, and supported our legal partner is the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University. So we're hearing already this afternoon how important it is to have partnerships with other entities outside our field that can help us do the work we need to do. And in our case, Knight First Amendment Institute, along with the Reporters Committee for the Freedom of the Press, also based in New York, are really critical for that. And we're going to keep focused on that issue. And then lastly, we've tried to do more in recent times in terms of statements, communication, and support of filmmakers. And we partnered with ICFR, you are ahead of us in this in terms of what you're able to do, which is incredible. And as you know, I'm sure, and we're certainly finding it's so much about speed and accuracy. Like how can you be right and fast around these things? And so we've learned a lot about that even the last year or so. It's a matter, I think, all of this, what we're here to try and do together, it's a matter of how we can all contribute to the infrastructure of support that documentary filmmakers have available to them. And as it was a little bit alluded to earlier on, journalists have had the benefit of an infrastructure like that for longer and more, and it's been broader than filmmakers have. So in many ways, what I have sought to do at IDA more and more, and will continue to, is try and provide the resources and support that journalists need and expect, and provide that to documentary filmmakers too. One thing that, in terms of moving towards the Emergency Assistance Fund, which we launch now, that itself was quite, the design of that and the first steps around that was really quite influenced by talking to Sarah from ICFR probably about 6 or 8 months ago. And I said to Sarah, what is it? Because we want to find something that's complementary. None of us here want to duplicate what someone else is doing. This is the whole sense of the combined efforts here. What is it that ICFR finds hard to do that we could come alongside you and do? And of course, your focus, and she told me this, your focus has to be on filmmakers who are already detained. I know in the cases of Afghanistan and Ukraine, there have been moments when you've been able to do more than that, but it's not sustainable. How can together, not just ourselves, but others, get to a place where we can that support for relocation and other kinds of emergency need can be handled in a more sustainable way. It's so much about the resources and so much about the time, the staff time, that we can bring to this. We need to share the responsibilities, share the labor in many ways. So the program that we've launched this week is it is a pilot. It entails one-time grants of between $500 and $5,000 for relocation and other purposes, open to all documentary filmmakers worldwide, not just IDA members. We have at the same time been increasing the services that we provide to members of IDA, and in relation to what we're discussing today, visa support has been part of that. we've developed a kind of protocol for these emergency grants where we have a 24-hour acknowledgement, 5-day maximum turnaround for the funds to be dispersed. We made, to the point about how can you avoid saying no that Jordi mentioned before, this is limited. We've deliberately created a program here which has limits that we seek to grow, that we believe we can grow. I am certain we can raise funds to continue this and to expand it. And when we expand it, we'll be expanding it not just to support more filmmakers, but also to support other kinds of needs that filmmakers have. And yet at the same time, we want to try and avoid to say no as much as possible. And as the case for you, this is going to be about how we can refer filmmakers to other sources of support that they might need. Last thing I'd say about this, and you can find this, it is now online and available, and as of tomorrow, we're looking to take requests. And so one of my asks to you today is through your organizations and your networks, please spread the word about this, because we're interested to see people apply. And we actually rolled this out to 92 organizations around the world in advance of the more public announcement in order to get that kind of support. What I end with here really is this is so much about us building or assembling the capacity to do this work. It takes a lot of time. We have at IDA, we have assigned this work to 2 full-time staff, and we also have staff in a communications team that can support this too. It is a priority for us. This and related advocacy work is a priority for us in terms of our fundraising moving forward. Membership is really important. I would say I've seen an early version of the report, and when you see it, you'll see how much sources of funding, not the scale of funding, but also the source of funding can shape what you can and cannot do. I sat down with one of my board members early on who knows about this and started this conversation. The first thing he asked me was, where do you get your money from? You know? And so we see the limitations in some countries, in a lot of Europe, for example, around what's required in terms of government funding. We don't have that problem in the United States. We don't have that. But corporate dollars can come with some restrictions, and we see that. The key for me, I think, in a lot of the work that we're talking about here this afternoon is individual support. And we know that the United States has a kind of culture of individual giving for arts and film and other things, and we want to do our best around that. And IDA as a membership organization gives us something of a platform to try and build member support for this kind of work in terms of dollars. So one other thing that we're trying to do, and then I'll leave you for now. Legal support. We are exploring putting together a bank of pro bono and low bono legal hours that filmmakers can be available to filmmakers. I think I've talked to lots of people. I think that is the better route than legal defense fund, which was proposed at one point. So we are, among the many partnerships that this is going to entail, we're looking at how we can put together partnerships with legal firms, legal clinics, in order to provide that support. So the last thing then I would say is this is the sort of invitation to the room, really, and others that you know. We need, in order to grow this, to do more and to do this as well as it needs to be done, we really need to, I believe, combine our networks. We need to be able to share who we know and put together a common network that provides the help and advice and support that the filmmakers need. Coordinated support services. It's those referrals again. We need to have a shared database, I believe, of organizations, individuals to which we can refer filmmakers who are in need. And lastly, again, I think it comes down to sharing the work. It takes a lot of time. A lot of the people, you may know this or not, a lot of people who are doing this in this room are doing this part-time, either because they're doing something else, like running a festival or an industry part of a festival, or in other ways. And so I think the key to this for me, I think that the dollars to provide the support for filmmakers, I'm certain that's possible. But we really need to get organized around the time that it takes to do the work. And so, yeah, once again, it's just a pleasure to be here. Jordi and I spent like an hour and a half or 2 hours already today. We're having breakfast tomorrow to figure this out. And Nadia, we're talking tomorrow. And so I'm really enthusiastic about the potential of what we can all do together. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you. Thank you, Dominic. If there aren't any questions by anyone? Yeah.
Sorry. As an American, I want to say thank you for all the legal action you're taking that you mentioned in your speech.
Thank you. And I kind of want to say, as a naturalized American, even when we talked about this 3 weeks ago in Berlin, I didn't think I'd have to be in front of you as an American that's representing a country that's conducting a dirty, evil war that we see happening right now. And I know how the conflicts in this region over 2-3+ years now have really affected the minds and the work of everybody here. So I just want to say that.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Dominic.
That was a good one question.
It was a very good one question. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay, so just give us 1 minute and...